Hey everyone, welcome to our first annual Race Fails edition. This is Race Fails edition of 2015. I am Rebecca, aka Film Fatale NYC on Twitter. I will be joined shortly by Jamie Broadnax, the Black Girl Nerds, and also Lauren Warren. But I'm just going to kick things off first. A lot of things happened in 2015. As I like to nickname them, peak caucasity, just basically white celebrities inserting foot in mouth. So we have a whole list. We had to try to bring it down to 10 because there were so many. So we're going to try to limit it more to entertainment. I mean, we may mention some politicians like Donald Trump, of course. But yeah, we are going to get started. We're going to wait for Jamie to Black Girl Nerds to get here because we definitely want to talk about Project Greenlight and her creating the Damon splaining hashtag, which was one of my favorite hashtags of 2015. So I'm going to kick things off with a few things that happened in Hollywood. Definitely on my list, I would start off with Gods of Egypt. There was just so much wrong with this casting and marketing. It seems that the director, Alex Proyas, put out an apology in conjunction with Lionsgate Film, which is distributing the movie, and it was a sort of sorry, not sorry. And I think people are just really getting tired of seeing these types of movies that take place in Egypt and just being cast with like these lily white actors. So I think we have Gerard Butler in there, the actor from Game of Thrones who plays Jamie. I think one of the only few actors of color in it is Chadwick Boseman, who plays, I forget the name of the god. He plays an Egyptian god that can basically multiply himself. And Chadwick was pretty open about it. I think he did an interview with GQ magazine or Esquire, I forget which one. And, you know, he has to be political. He really can't bite the hand that feeds him. But if you read between the lines, you can pretty much tell that he was not happy with the mostly white cast. But I do remember him saying that he did want to do the movie because he did want a presence. He wanted to have a Black face in that movie. So I'm not sure how this movie is going to turn out. It just kind of smacks of Gods and Kings, the same thing that we went through with Ridley Scott last year. And he was the thing with Ridley Scott is he was very unapologetic about his all-white casting of Exodus of Gods and King. And I think he had said something to the effect of it was hard for him to find funding for this movie, because I think he was looking at overseas producers overseas. And to quote him, he said that he would not be able to get people to finance this movie if he cast Mohammed so-and-so in any of the leads of Gods and Kings. So Gods of Egypt is just an extension of that. I believe that movie is supposed to come out in 2016. But pretty much Black Twitter has said no to this movie. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happened with that. The other two movies, too, that kind of came under fire under social media were Aloha, the Cameron Crowe movie, when they cast Emma Stone. And I'm pretty sure I looked at her genealogy. I didn't see anything that indicated that Emma Stone has a lick of melanin in her gene pool. And so he cast Emma Stone as a character who was supposed to be a quarter Chinese or 1/8 Chinese. I'm not sure. And so that came under fire too. People were very vocal about this, and people were just not happy. And I know that there were quite a few opinion pieces and think pieces that were written, particular by, there's particularly one that, sorry guys, I'm trying to get Lauren and Jamie onto this podcast, so bear with me for a second. Hold on. Let's see. This is not good. I don't like Google Hangout. They've changed everything, and so it's like gross. So I'm gonna try to see if we can get them into this Google chat. You were doing so well on Saturday. I don't know what happened. Let's see if we can do this again. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. Yeah, so we were talking about Aloha, super whitewash, super white cast. Emma Stone, I think she made a statement afterwards, kind of like this in the vein of sorry, not sorry yet again. And that just seems to be a pattern with these studios where they cast the movie, they make the movie, and then when it comes time for them to get people to see the movie, you know, there's all this backlash, and it's sort of like, oh, we're kind of like, we didn't know, we had no idea. And I just feel that in 2015, you should know better than this. It's just not a good look. So yeah, so that got shut down. If I remember correctly, Aloha didn't do that well in the box office. I think it opened like number 4, number 5, and it just went boop, 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 boop. No one remembers this movie. And the other movie that came out that came under fire for whitewashing too was Stonewall. This was a movie that was directed by Roland Emmerich, and you might know Roland Emmerich from directing the super big blockbusters like Independence Day, and I think he did Day After Tomorrow, and I could be wrong. But yeah, he decided that he wanted to make a movie about the LGBT rights that took place in Greenwich Village. And it came under fire because when the trailer came out, it was a mostly white cast. And keep in mind, Stonewall is a historical event, but Emmerich decided to take creative liberties with it. And so the main character is this fictional character. He's like this young white man in his 20s, I believe, who decides to come to New York, and he meets, you know, a group of other gay men, a bunch of other LGBT members of the LGBT community. And I think for a lot of people, the question was, why the choice of using yet another white cisgender man to use that as a point of view or a point of entry for a story like this? Because I think a lot of people, non-white LGBT community, feel that they are shut out, and rightly so, because a lot of movies and TV shows that we see, the depictions of LGBT POC, people of color, is rare and in between. I mean, you can go to Shondaland on Thursday and you can see queer characters like Annalise, you know, or on Grey's Anatomy with Callie in Arizona. So that just was unfortunate. And this whole thing happened. I forget who the name of the person was, but he was a activist that was there on the night of the riots. He was on HuffPost Live, and he basically said that Black people and people of color are making a huge deal out of nothing, and that the movie was not whitewashed because he was there, and it is actually it is accurate because basically he said that people of color did not contribute to the Stonewall riots. And of course, there have been opinion pieces from other LGBT people of color, who are saying that, yes, we were there. I feel like Gloria Rivera was there, or I forget, some other activists were there. And so that just rubbed people the wrong way. And of course, that movie just came and went as well. So we're just seeing this pattern where these producers and these directors are stuck, you know, in doing this, in casting all white cast. And then once the backlash happens, then it's like, oh, sorry, my bad. Well, yeah, no, we're not going to do that anymore because we're just going to stay home and, you know, keep our money in our pockets. So I'm hoping that 2016, they will learn their lesson, but I have a feeling that they won't. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and I'm going to try to loop in Jamie and Lauren, and we'll continue. Race Fails 2015. If you're on Twitter, please use the hashtag Race Fails 2015 and let us know which celebrities or which stories really worked your nerves. We'll be right back.